Gorrell until 2 o'clock. I love it when you get in touch with me. That's something that Howie did a little while ago. He was telling me about the amazing work he does helping people who are caring for those who are affected by dementia. And we had him on as our lunch break guest. When he came on, lots of people really wanted to know more about his website, what he does. And Awareness Week is being held focusing on dementia, how it impacts people's lives. It's the leading cause of death in the UK. Around 1 million people live with dementia in the UK, and that means millions more are caring for their loved ones. So today, for Sound Advice, we speak with Howie Blanks from Portslade, who's a volunteer ambassador for Dementia UK and also runs SussexDementiaVoices.org. And Howie, this all comes, doesn't it, from your own experience looking after someone who was affected by dementia?
Yeah, it was. It was the isolation of kind of looking after my stepmom and not having any support, which was really difficult to live with. And it was only when she passed that I realised how much support there is actually out there in Sussex, but just not signposted well enough.
Yeah, I suppose people are, sometimes it's older people who are looking after their partner that has dementia, or their children who are trying to juggle work and their own kids. It's such a difficult time, isn't it? Trying to meet all the caring needs.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to lots of people who are in that position at the moment, and lots of different stories. People who are holding down full-time jobs. I mean, when I first started caring for my stepmom, I was working full-time and I was often away working, and it's difficult. It really is difficult. And add to the mix, if somebody's undiagnosed with dementia, then you don't necessarily get the support you need anyway. So yes, it is very difficult.
I think this is it, isn't it? We had a lot of inquiries about your website last time you came on, because what you do is make it a lot easier to navigate.
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea. The idea is to have everything in one place. I mean, when I was caring for my stepmom, I didn't realise the support was out there, like I said earlier. But it's only when you start looking, and I set up the website thinking there was probably sort of 10, 15, 20 groups out there, and I was gobsmacked when I was like, there was over 200 dementia support groups, care groups. And when you look further, I mean, there's groups, there's singing groups, there's music groups, there's sports groups, there's cinema groups, indoor bowls. It's extraordinary, and there's so many amazing people out there volunteering and charities working out there supporting people with dementia.
So there are people that want to make a difference. One word I hear associated with looking after with dementia is isolation. And I suppose what happens here is you've got these support groups, you can talk to other people who have empathy, who understand exactly what your life is like.
Absolutely. Isolation is probably one of the biggest problems for people living with or caring for someone with dementia. I always say it's like connection is medicine. Sort of isolation is really, really harmful. And by joining a group, it's that community feel, you know, it brings purpose, it brings joy, it brings a sense of belonging, which is so important for all of us, even for us, you know, not living with dementia, but it's even more important for those living with dementia to get that support and be able to take part in group activities.
One thing that you say is that there are ways that you can, if you're at home with your loved one who has dementia, things like music, old photographs, that can make a difference.
It can, and it, you know, when you're living with dementia and you have good days and bad days, and quite often, you know, you can forget what you've had for breakfast, but you can always remember maybe the song that you dance with your wife or partner at your wedding. And dementia is such a difficult disease because it takes away people's abilities for short-term memory, leaving quite often those kind of old memories, and a lot of groups use things like reminiscence therapy, which is focusing on old photographs and music to bring those memories to life. So important.
I suppose as well, watching some of the programs, you know, there's a lot of channels that show TV shows from years ago. I bet that triggers some memories for some people.
Absolutely. There's lots of repeats, aren't there, on telly, and lots of old comedy programs, and they're really, really important for people to go back and remember those early days and those amazing memories. And I think what I would say, Sarah, what's really important if you live with dementia or you're caring for someone with dementia, is life is just as valuable. And, and it doesn't mean that it's isolation. As I say, there's so much help out there, and life goes on, and you could be living with dementia for 10 years, 15 years. You don't know, and it's just so important that life goes on.
We're coming up, Howie, to a lovely bank holiday, sunny weekend. What about, getting out and about with someone with dementia? Is there some advice on that?
Yeah, there is. I mean, one of the things I would say is prepare. Lots of people that I talk to, and it's about preparing to reduce that anxiety when you're out, and that could be, although it's difficult on a bank holiday, but maybe travelling at quiet times, pre-booking popular attractions, maybe to avoid queues, avoid noisy environments. Smaller is better, I always say. If you did go away on a holiday, avoid a large hotel with hundreds of people and maybe pick something a little bit smaller. Make people aware that your partner or yourself are living with dementia, and they'll offer that support.
And of course, you've put it all together for us. Just tell us a bit more about your website. So it's sussexdementiavoices.org. On there, you've got lots of advice and also those groups you were talking about.
Yeah, I think the important thing is I started looking at some of the support phone numbers earlier before this call, and you start writing down numbers. And I've heard stories of people leaving doctor's surgeries with hundreds of leaflets and being totally disorientated with the signposting, and others that haven't got anything. And the beauty of Sussex Dementia Voices is that you can just go onto that website and you can look in your own time at what's available in your area, and that could be a local care support group. I mean, let's be honest as well. When you're caring for somebody living with dementia, you need help yourself. We said previously 60% of people caring for someone with dementia have anxiety. So, on the website, you can find all sorts of dementia groups. You can find community transport now. I've just added that on there because people want to be transported by somebody that understands dementia. And there's a plethora of that in Sussex. And lots of different dementia groups are on there. Lots of information.
Well,
and if you want to...
So just go onto the website. Just remind us where we find it.
So that is sussexdementiavoices.org.
Well, thank you so much. Some great advice there for today's Sound Advice. Always good to talk to you. Thank you for joining us on the programme. Howie, someone who got in touch with the programme, actually, was a lunch break guest and got so much reaction when he came on as our lunch break. Don't forget, if you have a story to tell,